about to leave. Already packing, come with me. I'm not.
Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to Happy For Now. It's me Isabel here with my June wrap up. I can't believe June's over. I know we all probably feel that way. This year is flying by after last year dragged. Anyways, I wanted to let you know about all the books I read this month. And as always, my end of month wrap up will feature all of the books I've read since I did my mid-month wrap up in detail, and then we'll talk about all my stats and all that good stuff. So let's get right into it because I read a lot. So first up we have stats. I read a total of 40 books in the month of June, which is just wild. Absolutely wild. So that totaled out for 11,857 pages, an average rating of 4.13. I had a couple 6 stars, which is exciting. And those numbers break down into 7 KU titles, 7 library books, 5 rereads. I had 15 ebooks, 16 audiobooks, and 9 manga that I read. And then I read 8 new to me authors and 1 debut. So let's go ahead and jump right into all my star ratings. As always, I will just glance through the books I talked about in my mid-month first, and then we'll talk about all the new books I read. If you want more details on those, again, go back to that mid-month wrap-up. I will talk about them more extensively there. So I did not have any 1 or 2 star ratings this month, or DNFs, which is great. I love when that happens. So first up for my 3 stars, we have Witchling by Yasmin Galorn, Ivan by Roxy Riviera, Haunted by Christina C. Jones. Then we have The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan, which I'm still torn on this book. I liked a lot of parts of it. I liked a lot of, again, just like The Roommate, what she was trying to do with this book, but I think that didn't make a lot of sense at the end of the day. I do want to give some content warnings here for discussion of a previous rape and people bursting into a synagogue, like not great stuff, you know, slut shaming, all that good stuff. And yeah, so there's that in here. But this follows Naomi, who is a sex educator now and was a sex worker, and a rabbi named Josh, maybe? I think that was his name. Anyways, it follows their relationship while she teaches a lecture at his synagogue on modern intimacy. But my biggest qualms with this was that, like, it wasn't even that steamy, which is fine, but like, I don't remember anything of note happening really in this besides, like, yeah, I got nothing. And then, like, it follows their relationship, but there's a ton of miscommunication, which I feel like is not meshing with the idea of, like, teaching a lecture series on modern intimacy in which you talk about communicating with people that you're dating. So it just didn't, like, click in my head fully on this one. I think Rosie is trying to do some really interesting things with her romance books. They're just not working for me as much as I want them to. I will definitely try her next release, and then I will make decisions from there. Then I read Shadow's Seduction by Kresley Cole, which I did give 3 stars to. This is on par. I dislike this for different reasons than I dislike Declan's book in the Immortals After Dark series. This mostly just features my least favorite trope, which is gay for you. I just think there's a lot of big problems with that. And this follows Mercio and Caspian as they are best friends, and then Caspian's like, wait, you're trying to trick me into loving you. And it's a whole bunch of miscommunication, a whole bunch of, like, oh no's. And yeah, it didn't work for me. It was super steamy. I will say that Kresley is good at that, and no matter what she writes, she writes you some steam, and yeah, it gets hot very quickly and well, but it's just not for me. Then I listened to Son of a Beach by Mia Sosa, who I really like. Other books by her that I haven't read, but this, just for me, because it's an Audible original, it's only like 2.5 hours, did not work in a lot of ways. And I think it didn't work because it didn't have enough time to grow the story. We're following 2 co-workers who go on a trip to the beach in order to take do a whole shoot for a swimsuit edition of their magazine thing, and he's kind of like the everybody loves him and she's like grumpy. I just think that this, like, went from I hate you to let's bone way too fast without enough development in between for that to happen. I can't, it's 2 hours. I don't have a lot to say about it. Then let's talk about my 3.5. So these were all in my previous month mid-months. So we have Dark Sky by Cressley Cole, then The Protege by Brianna Hale, which I don't know if I gave a 3 or a 3.5 in my mid-month, but I did bump it up to a 3.5 because it stayed with me enough that I did really like this book. Now we've got my 4 stars. So we have Run Posey Run by Kate C. Wells, Sanguine by Sierra Simone, The Marriage Contract by Katie Robert, Ruthless Creatures by J.T. Gessinger, Twice Shy by Sarah Hogel, Dear Sweet Pea by Julie Murphy, Charge by Kate C. Wells, Coveted by Christina C. Jones. And then my new reads that I've read since then are Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Maniscalco. I think I got that right. This is a Filipino-American author. She gives some content warnings before the book around police violence and raids and stuff, as well as this is a cozy mystery, so you're going to have murder on the page and her trying to solve crime. And we do have we have 2 potential love interests that show up in this book. I really enjoyed this. I really loved the family, the culture parts of it I thought were really well done. It was very fun. I got very hungry during it, and yeah, I had a good time overall. I think that this is, if you're prepared to deal with a lot of fatphobic comments in the book overall, I think this could be a fun one to read. Knowing that going in definitely helps me handle it better. If I hadn't have known, I don't know if I would have liked the book as much as I did. So there's that. But overall, this was a great cozy mystery. I'm excited for the sequel. I think it's gonna be really great. Then I read Set by Alexandria House. This was super steamy, great romance from people who went to high school together and didn't really know each other in high school, started hooking up and traveling cross country to like hook up for a weekend, and then eventually going further from there. I really liked this. I think Set was such a great hero, and I really can't wait to read the rest of the McLean brothers. I also read I Think I Might Love You by Christina C. Jones. This is another quick read. If you haven't read the Love Sisters yet or the Wright Brothers collection, you really need to. I have just been having a blast slowly here, using up my extra Hoopla checkouts to read through more Christina C. Jones. So, and I Think I Might Love You, they have like a Dangerous Be Cute. She goes to her sister's apartment. Turns out this guy has been running it out during the week. She didn't know that. And her sister like travels during the week, and she like needs him in the junk, and it's a whole thing. It's very funny. Like I laughed so much during this book, like I do every single Christina C. Jones I read. I love her writing so much. But yeah, this one was such a blast. I loved how it all worked out. I loved some of the reveals in it, and I liked that we had a female main character who wasn't perfect and had done some messed up things in her past, gotten into some trouble, you know, and was still trying to do better for herself. And I just appreciate that, because not everybody has to be perfect. Next, I read Feed by Evita Weiss. I don't want to say too much because, again, this is another like really short novella. This features a death moth fairy and a succubus, and she uses a dating app to hook up with someone to feed, and they like get mutually, like they get hooked up and they don't know it. They're co-workers, or they work together occasionally, and he is like, it's hot. This has like BDSM in it, and it is smoking hot. It is really good. I won't tell you too much, but I am reading the sequel, which is Skin About a Gargoyle. Y'all, and it's so good so far. So good. Cannot wait for a full length from Evita. I think she's doing some really great things with her monster books so far, and something totally different than what we've been getting for the most part in this market. Then I read Wondersmith, The Calling of Morgan Crow, I think, by Jessica Townsend. So this is book 2 in the Morgan Crow series, and I really like this. I think this is another great middle grade adventure, which are one of my favorite things to read, and I really enjoyed just how the stories continue to develop in this, and I can't wait to pick up the 3rd book very soon, hopefully, and read through that. Again, it's just a middle grade adventure. Like, I don't want to give you too much because it's a sequel, but I seriously have been having a blast with this series. Then I read The Masked Minotaur by Chase Verity, and this is a sapphic monster effing book, basically. So this baker owns like a renowned bakery in the town. They have like this very specific candy they make, and there is this villain criminal going around breaking into places, trying to steal recipes and all these things from businesses, and her business gets targeted. She ends up there when the person's breaking in, and the Masked Minotaur, who has been a vigilante around town, is there as well, and they end up, you know, a whole thing happens. There's a whole bunch of reveals. She's married to like one of the town's, like the upper class. And from there, and it's really interesting because like the whole town is struggling because they've kind of cast out the others, which are people who were shifters or part beast, things like that, versus, you know, embracing them. So yeah, it was really, really good. Very quick read also. Absolutely worth your time. And then I read The Wedding Pact by Katie Robert. This is a continuation of her O'Malley series. This follows Kerrigan, who I finished the first book and said, I need her story immediately, and I dove into it pretty quickly after. I loved this book. Kerrigan was such a great character. I loved a lot of the motivations here. I loved how it unfolded. This is a forbidden romance situation. They should not be together, and they should, like, they super should not. Their families hate each other, and it's them figuring out how they can be together, and she doesn't have to marry, like, a total monster just to please her dad. Loved it. Cannot wait to read more of the O'Malleys. Content warning on that one for like anything and everything mafia related, kidnapping, murder, all that fun stuff. So just FYI. Now for my 4.5 stars, we have 2 of those. We have If She Says Yes by Tasha L. Harrison. If you've not read this book and you want an older woman and a younger man and just so much tension, you need to pick this up. It follows Tomas and Darcy. He is in town for his best friend's wedding, and it's his best friend's mom. And we are following, he's told by his best friend to take care of his mom for the weekend, make sure she's happy, all that fun stuff. And little does his friend know that he's gonna more than take care of his mom. And it follows their relationship. We don't like end with the big, like, we have a 3rd act breakup, but we don't end with like a whole thing between him, the best friend, and him, which I really appreciated. We ended with them figuring out how their relationship was going to work. And this was just, it was so hot. It is smoking hot. Perfect summer read because it is set like in Charleston, where, like, I'm not far from Charleston. It's hot, it's humid here. It's, I don't know, it just worked so well as a summer read, and the atmosphere was perfection. Then we have Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane, who is Helen K. Diamond's thriller pen name. And I really, really liked Pretty Little Wife. So I had an idea, right, of what actually happened. And then things got even more twisted. And I just left this book like, whoa. So 4.5, like, really, really liked it. This is a thriller with murder and a bunch of missing girls, basically, and she's had this like kind of sham of a marriage, and her husband goes missing, and which this is in the synopsis, okay? Like, her husband goes missing, she killed him, but then the body vanishes, and she doesn't know who took it. So it's her figuring that out, and it was just, whew, it was a lot. It was really good. Highly recommend. Then my 5 stars, so we have Shadow's Claim by Cressley Cole and McGreeve by Cressley Cole. Then we have my only new 5-star for the month, which was the Midwinter Mail Order Bride by Katie Wilde. This is free right now and on Kindle Unlimited. Highly recommend. So this follows Anya, who ends up on a journey across the realm to this new king's place, who is Kale, the like Rivener, I don't know, he's got all these names. He like killed a bunch of people and took over the kingdom, and his like squire helper dude has been sending out letters trying to find him. It's not his squire, it's I don't know, it's one of the people that's like under him, sending out letters trying to find him a wife. And Anya shows up. It turns out she's been drugged, and all this stuff happens, and he takes her back to her homeland because she's convinced there's a spider there. And it has one of my favorite meetings of a couple. She's like on a bed or a chase or something with like a sword ready to slay anyone who gets near her, and it was hilarious. This took me by surprise. I did not expect to 5-star it. I did not expect to love it as much as I did, but here we are. It was incredible. If you're wanting a fantasy romance that's a quick read but also really engaging, this is it. And then my 6 stars. Okay, so we're almost done. Whew. I had Sweet Ruin by Cressley Cole as a 6-star read. I gave it 4 stars my first read. I think I was too hyped for it. But rereading it, I just love Joe and Rune so much. I love their relationship. I love the setup that he's poison to everyone but her. I love how it all unfolded. I love the character we find out more about. I love everything in this book. It's so good. And then Wicked Abyss by Kresley Cole was my other 6 star this month. And again, the setup here is so good. This is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling / Hades and Persephone. He's like the king of hell, and she has to marry him, and she doesn't really want to, but she's going to. And we get just impeccable tension and world building and situations happening, and he has this curse that turns him into a beast more and more as the days go by. And then he like turns human once they're in love, or can like change back and forth at will, and like he loves her, she loves him as a demon more, and it's so good. So much tension, so much build. She is a character who her name's Calliope, and she like goes from, you think she's like meek and weak and not going to do anything, to like a total badass by the end of the book, and you're just like, holy crap, I love you. So that is definitely my other 6 star. Those are all the books I read in June. I'm not going to talk about my manga because tomorrow, same time as always, my manga log for the last 3 months is going to drop, so you can watch and learn about all the manga I read in Q2. I was going to double up, but I only read like 9 volumes, so I felt like you can just watch the new video tomorrow, because I'm going to condense it all down into groups. So yeah, you can do that, and I will see y'all in literally tomorrow. If you made it this far, you can let me know your favorite book you read in June, or leave a water related emoji in that comment box, and I will have links to every single book I talked about in that description box for you, as well as links to be my friend anywhere on the internet. Bye, y'all.
About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distraction.